Kind of jump into it. Got one thing that are tied to each other, but this started with a couple of guys that were at a bar downtown. They apparently were causing some problems or issues, and security asked them to leave. They then went to another bar, and the bartender refused to serve them because of their level of intoxication. One of the bartender, and then they left. When they went back, they were by the parking garage on the north side of 10th Street. And they basically met up as kind of a chance encounter, but the group of people they had a problem with inside men in the chest. This guy then, our suspect, got into his car and then drove his car and hit both of these men. The suspect was actually the one that called police on that. He stuck around once we kind of sorted everything out. He was arrested. There were two charges: vehicular battery and aggravated assault. The man that was stabbed had an injury from being struck by the car. He was taken to the hospital. The injury was described as non-life-threatening. He's a 37-year-old. The other man had some minor injuries. He's a 29-year-old. I think that's about it. All of this happened just after midnight. I don't have the exact times. It was a little kind of fluid in nature, but both calls came in pretty close to about the same time. Anything else?
So how many people total? You only have one suspect, or how many people total were?
So one person was arrested. There were, I don't have the exact number, it wasn't mentioned in the report, but there was a lot of people that were, I guess, involved. We've got two guys, one was stabbed, and then both of them were hit by a car, and then we have a group of other people. And so things started inside that first bar, and it was, I'm not going to go into the specifics of it, but there were some issues between that group of people. So I don't have the exact number of how many people were involved, but several is probably the best that I could say.
Was it all one group of people or two separate groups?
We had these two men, and then we had another group of people.
Okay.
What's the name of the suspect again?
Yep, his last name is Gottschalk. First is Sean, Sean. Middle is Matthew, Mattthew. And he's 21 from Brandon. And so our two victims in this case, they were the ones that went into that second bar and caused an issue there. So I guess they're the suspect. One of them is a suspect in a different crime, but they're victims in this one, if that makes sense. Good on that? Okay. The other aggravated assault is a domestic. Burglaries are basically everything else pretty much is reports, to be honest, but burglaries were apartments, garages, a few random stuff from the disorderlies. Everything else is reports, including the sex offenses, and the vandalism's nothing concentrated in any area.
We got a report of a stolen mail truck. Do you have any information on that?
Do you know when?
It says that an arrest was made yesterday before 6.
Well, this might be it. Okay. So I don't have, I'll have to do some more digging on this to find a time, but it was, we had a postal worker was driving a mail van that was parked near Fifth Avenue and Carter Place. And as she was getting things out of the van, a guy came up and told her to give her the keys. He didn't. Doesn't look like there's any threats or anything like that, but he was able to, let's see. She ended up giving the keys. She was afraid of what this guy, what he was going to do or whatever, so she gave the keys. He then left, and we had that van. This was in the 500 block of North Duluth. That vehicle then ran over some bushes, and then it looks like the guy tried to get into a different vehicle at 5th in Minnesota. And I think that car was driven by a 17-year-old girl. Let's see. So he actually opened the car door and was trying to get her out. She ended up shutting the door and then locking it. Then he took off. And let's see. That one didn't have the arrest details, so. This part, so it looks like after the, well, all of this happened around 12:30. I got too many different narratives to go through here. So I think it was stolen around 12:30 p.m. And I don't see the time when he was arrested. I think this will give me a good idea, I guess. So he was taken to jail just before 1 p.m. So it looks like all this happened in a short amount of time. He was arrested for grand theft and then tampering with a motor vehicle were his two charges.
Do you have his name?
Yeah, his last name is Ducey, D-U-C-E-Y. First is Joshua, J-O-S-H-U-A. Middle is Alexander, A-L-E-X-A-N-D-E-R, and he's 28.
Is he a resident of Sioux Falls or?
Yeah, from Sioux Falls, yeah. Sorry.
Do you know if he was under the influence at all?
It doesn't say, I don't know.
Do you know where he came from?
Nope. We don't really get into everybody's, where they're going or where they're coming, where they're going. I mean, it's not really relevant to the elements of the crime. So we're looking at it from that crime point of view. what happened, who was responsible, so there's a
I
lot of
know
other
that I'm
details.
familiar with the area, and the reason I guess I'm asking is because it's a pretty nice area in
Yeah.
town, I would say.
I don't know, I don't know if he came from that area, was in that to begin with, or if he was passing through, I don't have any idea. Anything else? Okay, thanks.